If you look at McGill, it's easy to see him as somebody who's devoted to sexual freedom. But it's also possible to see him as somebody who's not celebrating that 1 week's holiday, that 1 week's outburst every year, but as somebody who's making the other 51 weeks of drudgery possible. And in a sense, you can see him as somebody who is, through his work, enabling this Protestant work ethic to continue and enabling these people who've had their 1 week celebration to go back to 51 weeks of drudgery.
As Mr. McGill waits to present his own unique defence, he is so innocent he didn't actually know there were any double meanings in his cards. His case is thrown off the rails.
You've got a visitor, sir. This way.
Having had a glimpse of the jury, Mr. McGill's lawyer is getting cold feet. But there are some battles that Mr. McGill can't win. As he enters his 80s, his output falls to just 2 cards a week. His eyesight begins to fail him, and the quality of his artwork diminishes. And it's not the only thing that's going down the pan. Donald Fraser Gould McGill, prolific master of the Saucy Postcard and Picasso of the Pier, dies aged 87 on the 13th of October 1962.
When McGill died, he just left a few £100. Unfortunately, he didn't get the rewards that he should have got, considering he was the king of Saucy Seaside Postcards and sold more postcards than any other postcard artist.
£735, I think, was the figure that he left. And I think really that is rather saddening, really, that he was actually working for relatively small sums. And when you actually look at the documentation during the war and the bomb damage claims that were made by his publisher, in which a McGill original is valued at less than his wife's bra, I think really that is rather saddening, really. And of course he received no royalties whatsoever.
Sort of worked out that if McGill had had a royalty, he would have been a billionaire probably, but he was paid a set fee for everything he did. But given that he sold millions of cards, I mean, if he'd have been on a sort of farthing royalty for everything, he would have been incredibly rich. But what he ended up with at the end of his life bore no relation to the number of cards he sold and his true value.
The thing that impressed me was how little he made out of it. He was always in financial trouble. I mean, these days he'd be sensational if he came up with something new. But, you know, he was always a bit impoverished, and I think that's a great shame. Perhaps he's getting his reward in heaven. Or if maybe because of the cards he's in hell, I don't know.